Hello, this is Laura Brandenburg from Bridging the Gap, and today we're here to talk about how to write clear requirements, because writing clear requirements is a foundational business analyst skill, and it's a foundation of writing good requirements. So when you write clear requirements in a clear way, you are making sure that they're going to be properly understood by your business and your technical stakeholders. Clearer requirements tend to have fewer review cycles and validation cycles because you're focusing less time on what does this requirement mean instead of what do we actually want it to mean and what do we want the requirement to be, which is how we should be investing our time and meetings as business analysts. And this is the important one. When you write clear requirements and you take that time to make sure they're clear, you're going to come up with more questions, really truly insightful questions that you can ask your business and technical stakeholders. And this is going to showcase your power and your value as a business analyst. So let's jump right in. I'm going to share 3 ways that business analysts can write clear requirements and how you can avoid mistakes and ambiguity. So the first tip and the first thing to focus on is to write your requirements in what's called active present tense. So we have a tendency sometimes to use passive voice, and we use passive voice when we actually are missing a piece of information that's really critical to the requirement. So for example, job posting details are entered. Job posting details are saved. That is and that are indicators of passive voice, and we want to avoid those like the plague in our requirements because it's not clear who's responsible for each step. So I'm going to read you the alternative. If I was putting these in a use case, I would write these 2 steps. Job poster enters job posting details, and the system saves the job, the system saves the job posting details. Okay, so now we've added a who or a what that clarifies who's doing that action, which was missing before in the passive voice. And we've replaced that is or are with an action verb that clearly describes the requirement. So it's much clearer as a result. Now, the second way that we tend to be unclear about our requirements as business analysts is when we use terminology inconsistently. And this can kind of sneak into our requirements just by like small variations of terms, where when you have like a community of people that are all familiar with the domain, like they can read between the lines and they kind of know what you're talking about. But then all of a sudden you bring in a new developer, or you hire another person on your business team who's sitting in on the requirement sessions, or you scale your team and some of that work is outsourced, right? Or a new business analyst comes in and they're trying to pick up the requirements where you left off. And those small variations are all going to create doubts. Like, are these really the same thing? So like, is a job poster and a job posting agent, right? Say you were using those interchangeably. Are those the same? Are job posting details the same as job details? Or are they different? Somebody who's really looking at your requirements with a fine-tooth comb, could either have questions or they could make assumptions that aren't actually true. So you want to go through and make sure that you're using terms super consistently. So take the time to define them in a glossary or a business domain model. And then as you write your business processes and your use cases, or however you document your processes and functional requirements, you want to make sure you're using those terms consistently throughout as well. So the final tip I want to share with you today is to avoid combining requirements. So often words like and, or, before, and after mean that you've kind of lumped multiple requirements together. And it's easy when you have that kind of lumping together to focus on one part of the requirement and not the other, and actually have either the business stakeholder misvalidating part of a requirement or the technical stakeholder and tester implementing part of that requirement, okay? So I'm just gonna read you an example and see what you think. So job poster enters job posting details and reviews them before saving. Is that a clear requirement? I don't know, there's a lot of active verbs in there, right? So there's not passive voice, but there's actually 3 requirements in that statement. So I'm gonna read it again. Job poster enters job posting details and reviews them before saving. So there's a requirement for entering the job posting details. there's a requirement for reviewing them, and there's a requirement for saving them. That before saving is actually like this whole other requirement that just kind of got like tagged on at the end with those 2 words. And if you were discussing that for implementation, some of those requirements would be likely to get missed. So there's really a lack of clarity in our requirements. When we break it out into separate requirements, it'll be much more clear. So what I want you to do as a next step is use these 3 checks, and I want you to go and look at your most recent requirements document, whatever kind of requirements document it was, and just see if you can find any corrections to make. Now, as a bonus step, this is really where your career starts to take it to the next level, is see if you can find another business analyst in your organization or outside your organization. You go to your local chapter meetings and collaborate, connect with another BA, and I want you to review each other's documentation. And because what's gonna happen as you do that is you're gonna learn a lot more. It's harder to see our own mistakes. It's easier to see others' mistakes, okay? This is why we offer instructor reviews as part of our courses, because people will go through the courses, go through these detailed checklists we provide, and they still don't see their own mistakes, and then an instructor can point it out and the switch flips and they're able to make that correction. So you can do this on your own by doing peer reviews within your company or outside your company. And you'll learn a lot when you review somebody else's as well, because you'll see what doesn't come across as a clear requirement and what kinds of ways that you need to improve your documentation to make sure it's clear as well. So I really want you to go ahead and do that, and please comment below any ahas you've had from this lesson, any takeaways, any action steps that you're going to take to review your documentation and share that with others. So again, my name is Laura Brandenburg from Bridging the Gap, and we help you start your business analyst career.